everybody, and welcome to part 2 of what if Izuku Midoriya was the avatar of MHA. Yes, this series that explores Izuku having the power to bend the 9 elements, while adding a couple little elements from the series of The Last Airbender, although there isn't that much there, if I am to be totally honest. Yes, today's a bit of a shorter video, but, well, it encompasses the Quirk Assessment Test arc, so I hope you enjoy the smaller one. Next time, of course, will be the battle trial. If you enjoy this video, as always, please leave a like, subscribe, and you can always check out the Discord below. Well, we'll link in the description below. The Discord is where I talk to a lot of you people, and we discuss stuff and whatnot. Most recently, there's been a discussion about the percentages of One for All, so yeah, interesting stuff. Anywho, enjoy the video! I did it, Izuku whispered to himself, a sense of relief coming along with the tears of joy he was crying. Is everything alright, Izuku? Inko asked, stepping into the room after a while of hearing her son cry. She thought he had failed or something, but when she saw his face, although it was covered in tears, she could tell he was happy. I got in, Mom! I got in! He excitedly told his mother, wiping the tears off his face after. Hearing the good news, Inko prepared a delicious dinner in celebration. That night, Izuku had the dream again. The one where he was the bodyguard of that villain. But something was different. For some reason, the sense of dread was gone. Time passed, as it usually does, and the beginning of the new semester inched ever closer. 3 weeks before it arrived, Izuku decided to get his forms in order. Okay, so I have the updated Quirk registry and my measurements, along with the main forms needed for the school, Izuku murmured to himself while looking over everything. Now, for the request for the uniform subsidy, is there anything I should ask for? After a moment of thinking, a light bulb turned on in Izuku's mind, and he rushed to his room to grab a notebook. Long ago, he'd taken down a bunch of notes on what he'd like in his costume, and now he was going to put them in his request. Some of the ideas seemed a bit impractical to a more experienced Izuku, like having a staff, but there were some ideas his younger self had that would prove useful. In the end, all he requested was for the suit to be able to turn into a wingsuit, to have a water bank in its back that wouldn't weigh him down or off-balance him when flying, and a belt with many pouches. With all the forms and requests adequately filled out, Izuku sent them in. The end of the semester came soon, and Izuku, along with his classmates, graduated from middle school. The next week went by in a breeze, and so, the first day of high school arrived for the young bender. Izuku, you're sure you packed everything you need, right? You didn't just pack action figures. Inko asked as her son tied his shoes at the entrance. I'm sure, Mom, Izuku responded, slightly annoyed. I'm just messing with you a bit. I'm sure you'll do great at your new school, Inko said, embracing her son, embarrassing him slightly. I'm very proud of you, Izuku. Izuku smiled and responded, I'll see you later. Have a nice day. He separated from the hug and left the house, heading to his new school. After a quick train ride and a short walk, Izuku arrived at the school of his dreams. He was running a bit late, so he quickened the pace, speed walking throughout the hallways in search of his classroom. Class 1A, 1A, Class 1A, come on, where? Ah, there it is, he murmured to himself as he walked, approaching it rather quickly. Once he reached the door to his new classroom, he stopped for a moment, wondering why it was so big. He extended his hand, grabbed the doorknob, and prepared to open it, but he started to wonder who could be in his class before he did. He shook his head, forcefully snapping himself out of thoughts, and opened the door, only to find Bakugo already getting into an argument on his first day. Take your feet off your desk this instant! It's the first day and you are already disrespecting this academy by scuffing school property, you cretin! A boy with blue hair and glasses complained, scolding Bakugo for how he was sitting. You're kidding me, right? Bakugo retorted in a condescending fashion. Did your old school put a stick up your ass or were you born with it? The boy with the glasses sighed, took a deep breath and then started talking again. Let's start over. I'm Tenya Ida from the Somei Private Academy. Somei, huh? So you must think you're better than me, Bakugo said, further antagonizing his new classmates. I'm gonna have fun tearing you a new one. You would threaten me? Your own classmates? Are you sure you're in the right place? Ida asked, both surprised and horrified at the spiky-haired boy's words. The boy just scoffed and leaned back, spotting and approaching Izuku. Are you really doing this on your first day, Kachan? Izuku asked after the conversation seemed to have run its course. Screw you, nerd. I'm allowed to do what I want, Bakugo responded. I'm not arguing that, but should you go picking fights on your first day? Izuku asked. It would look terrible if you were to be expelled over it. Kicking me out? Did you forget who you're talking to, nerd? Bakugo said, looking away, not wanting to discuss it any further. Good morning. My name is Tenya Ida from the... Ida started while walking over to Izuku. Yeah, I know. I heard you before. My name is Izuku Midoriya. It's super nice to meet you, Izuku said in response. Midoriya, I must ask, did you realize that there were other parameters to the practical exam? Ida bluntly asked, surprising Izuku slightly. He expected some casual talk to get to know each other, not something so concrete right off the bat. Seeing the confusion on his classmate's face, Ida decided to elaborate. You see, I noticed that you decided to risk your life in order to save that girl, even though you were amidst an exam. So did you know they were judging us based on other parameters? It's nothing like that, Izuku started, but he found himself unable to finish his sentence as someone had walked up behind him, interrupting him. Hey, I recognize that messed up hair, the girl from the entrance exam said. It's Rocky! I'm so glad you passed the practical. Thanks for saving me, by the way. So what do you think we'll be doing today? Besides orientation, I mean. I wonder what our teachers are like. I can't wait to meet them. Izuku wanted to answer some of her questions, but found himself too flustered and found that she was speaking too quickly to answer any of them. If you're just here to make friends, you might as well pack your stuff now, a man in a sleeping bag said, creeping up behind the girl. Welcome to UA's hero course, he continued after everyone quieted down, getting off the floor and taking off the sleeping bag in the process. He seemed like a man who had barely slept in days. It took 8 seconds before you all shut up. That's not going to work. Time is precious. Rational students would understand that. At this point, the whole class was just staring at the man, trying to figure out who he was. He seemed a lot more like a homeless man than a hero, but he was at UA, so he had to be one of some kind. I'm Shota Aizawa, your homeroom teacher. Nice to meet you, he presented himself. As the class tried to process this, he reached into his sleeping bag, grabbing his sports uniform and pulling it out. Right, let's get to it. Put these on and meet me outside. The class listened to their new teacher, and less than 15 minutes later, they found themselves on the PE grounds. Once everyone had gathered there, Aizawa introduced the idea of a quirk assessment test. Many students seemed confused at the idea, so Aizawa decided that a demonstration was in order. He handed the student with the highest score a softball and told him to throw the ball as far as possible. Bakugo obliged and ended up throwing the ball 705.2 meters. 702 meters? Are you kidding me? How are we supposed to beat that? A boy with yellow hair and a bright lightning pattern on his hair asked, astonished by the score. I want to go next, that looks like fun! A pinkish girl chimed in, sounding extremely excited. Nice, we get to use our quirks as much as we want. The hero course is great! A boy with weird elbows and black hair expressed. Hearing the cheerful and excited attitude towards the exam, Aizawa decided to institute a penalty to show his students how harsh the real world could be. He informed his students that whoever placed last in the tests would be expelled from the school. Some students tried to refute the idea, but Aizawa's counter-arguments were on point, so they were forced to go through the test with this added motivation. The first trial the students had to go through was the 50-meter dash. Before it was his turn, Izuku started stretching, readying himself for the exercise. He and Baku were then called to do the test. Once the beep that indicated the start of the race was heard, both students started running, enhancing their speed with their own abilities. Thanks to his explosions, Bakugo managed to complete the run in 4.13 seconds, while Izuku, thanks to using his airbending, managed to complete the dash in 4.14 seconds. Damn, that was close, a boy with red hair commented. Ha, I win again, Bakugo proclaimed. Yeah, but I'll win next time, you'll see, Izuku retorted. The next trial was the strength grip test, in which Izuku managed to get a score of 79 kilograms, thanks to previously having trained his body by practicing martial arts. Izuku managed to clear the sandpit and the long jumps, using his earthbending to catapult himself forward and airbending to land correctly. He seems to have a pretty versatile quirk and a decent mastery over it, Aizawa noted while recording his latest score. He then moved on to the next contestant. The softball throw came next. Here, Izuku manipulated the air around the ball to send it further, even hitting it with gusts of air as the ball started falling. In the end, he managed to get a score of 201.3 meters. Ha! Still not better than me, Deku, Bakugo taunted. Yeah, but I won the last one, Izuku responded. We both cleared the pit, nerd. At best, it was a tie, Bakugo retorted. I jumped further than you, and you know it, Izuku said, taunting the boy slightly. Whatever, Bakugo responded. Then came the sidestep jumps, after the distance run, after that the seated toe touch, and finally the sit-ups. Aizawa took a few minutes to evaluate the scores. Once he had everything sorted, he gathered the class and showed them how they placed. Izuku looked over the board, slightly nervous, even though he knew he had done well. He found his name next to the number 5 spot. Just because you were better than me doesn't mean I lost, Izuku shouted at Bakugo just before he could open his mouth. Whatever. I showed that I was better than you, that's all that matters, Bakugo responded. And as for who's going home, Minoru Mineta, go to the prince's office, you're expelled, Aizawa said, scaring the whole class. That will teach you not to get distracted and take the test more seriously. What? He was serious? The class wondered while seeing Mineta plead with Aizawa, trying to get his spot back. As for the rest of you, pick up a syllabus and go home, Aizawa ordered, walking away. Everyone then did as instructed, heading to the classroom to pick up the syllabus before going home. As everyone else went home, Mineta headed to the principal's office where the expulsion papers went through. He'd completely wasted his chance. He felt like a complete failure. If only he hadn't gotten distracted looking at the girls, then he would have passed. Once that was done, he left the principal's office, ready to head home, defeated. Oh, hey Mr. Aizawa, he said, spotting the teacher on his way home. Minoru Mineta, you're officially reinstated into the academy. Congratulations, Aizawa said while moving away, giving Mineta his readmission slip. Don't go taking it too lightly. Next time it will be permanent. I'll try my hardest not to disappoint you, Mineta responded as tears started spilling from his face. All he could think was why his new teacher would do something so mean. Hearing that, Aizawa gave a genuine smile, one that no one could see. Midoriya and Ida left the main UA building, talking while heading to the station. It started by Izuku explaining that he didn't actually know the secret parameters behind the exam, but expanded as the two boys talked about the day's events. Hey, what up, you two? Are you going to the station? I'll join you, the girl from before said as she approached the two students. Oh, you're Infinity Girl, Ida said, referring to her by her score during the softball throw, which left an impact on many students. I'm Ochaka Uraraka. Let's see, you're Tenya Ida, and your name's Deku, right? Deku Midoriya? The girl asked. No. My name's actually Izuku. Izuku Midoriya, Izuku responded. Oh, I see. Sorry, that Baku guy was calling you that, so I assumed that was your name. Is it a nickname or something? She inquired. Yeah, one of the better ones he came up with, actually, Izuku responded, getting into the nickname story as the three of them headed towards the station. And that's the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, as always, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and maybe check out the Discord link in the description below. Yes. Well, this was a shorter video. Honestly, very good on my vocal cords. I'm recording this before part 1 even comes out, so yeah. Hope you guys are enjoying the series. I mean, this is kind of a in-between thing. It's the setup for the school. I know a lot of people usually group it up with either part 1 or with the entrance exam or with the next, the battle trial, but I usually have it as its own thing. The next is the battle trial, battle with Bakugo. Yeah, hope you guys are excited for that. There isn't really much to talk here. I mean, I did have to do some calculations for example, the 50-meter run. Actually, Izuku should have beaten Bakugo. According to my math, he would have done it in exactly 4 seconds. But I mean, I don't know. I felt like having him be a second slower, a millisecond slower. It isn't even a millisecond. It's 0.1 milliseconds slower would have been better. I don't know. Maybe I'm off here. I'm not thinking clearly. But yeah, I thought him being slower kind of entice the rivalry, and then it can have a bit of a payoff next part. I mean, I'm not sure how much people pay attention to that stuff. There's also the thing at the beginning where it picks up where the previous one left off exactly, instead of saying previously on Avatar and then explain the whole thing. I just had the first scene there and expand upon that because there's the previous Avatar there, but I'm not explaining him. I mean, he'll get his shot as the series progresses, and he'll have his first appearance in a couple arcs. I don't know. Honestly, I don't have that much to talk about. I mean, Izuku plays 5th because his quirk is extremely versatile, but he's still yet to... he can't use water bending that much in these scenarios. The only ones he can use are earth bending and air bending. And fire bending, he's not very good at. He sucks at it. He's barely touched upon it because he's so bad at it. It's kind of like Korra with air bending in a way. I don't know. That was the idea behind it. It's like the polar opposite element to his personality, I felt like. So, yeah. Hope you enjoyed the video and all that. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, even though I said that before. And have an absolutely fantastic day. Bye!